My new Indian Larry Brooklyn Brawler bars for Dyna. Let's get into it. What's going on YouTube? FXDLS Brooklyn is back in the building. And when John the Painter first showed me these bars on his 2017 Dyna Lowrider S, I was absolutely blown away with this design. This is the beauty that we've all come to know and love that's coming from any parts straight from Indian Larry. As you can see, probably the most notable feature of these bars is the fact that the placement of the gauges is absolutely perfect in terms if you're running a setup like this on your Dyna or your FXR. So yeah, I've been running these bars since Daytona, and my oh my, do I have a lot to tell you about these bars, man. But first and foremost, those of you who follow me know my Dyna build, and you guys know I've pulled no punches in terms of performance parts on this build, and I gotta say, these bars from Indian Larry really do complete the aesthetic that I've been going for. Why do they call them Brooklyn Brawlers? Well, as you can see, these cutouts right here where the gauges are kind of look like fists, so that's why John and Bobby gave them that name. And yeah, as you can see, man, these are absolutely fantastic in terms of aesthetics, right? This bar itself, you know, I went with the black bar. I thought it would look cool coming off with the gold. This actually has a hidden pullback in it, so these actually come back a little bit. And in terms of what I look for in a bar, which is something that could get me through New York chaos when I have to tactical maneuver, as well as a bar that's comfortable enough for me to sustain heavy mile days, what I could tell you is off the bat is that this bar setup is hands down the best bar setup I have ever run on any of my motorcycles, not just my Dyna. John the Painter clearly did his homework on these ones and has knocked these things straight out the park. Yeah, for those of you who are looking to step up to probably one of the most premium set of bars I've found from the hometown, made straight in Brooklyn, made in the USA, well, nothing that I've seen quite beats these in terms of aesthetic and performance. And that's it. I'm excited to tell you guys about these bars. So let's actually start the bike. Let's hop on the bike so you could actually see what it looks like from the point of view of the rider. And I could tell you a little bit about what they feel like for the rider. And at the end of the day, if these bars are right for you. Let's get into it.
And just like that, we are transported to the streets of Brooklyn. And that's right. I was actually going to take y'all for a ride out in the suburbs, but I was like, you know what? I know the riding environment that these bars were made for, and it is this. Again, the streets of Brooklyn. As they are made, of course, out here in Brooklyn, New York. That's right. This is a motorcycle part that is made in-house in the United States, Brooklyn, New York. So to have a part manufactured out here from the home team is like a very, very special thing for me. So yeah, I just wanted to take y'all for a little brief rip just so you guys could kind of see what it looks like behind these bars for the rider, and I'll tell you a little bit about what it feels like, especially riding in one of the most challenging riding environments in the world, which is none other than New York City. So yeah, that's it. Let's fire this thing up, let's make some miles, and I'll tell y'all a little bit more about what these bars feel like functionality wise, because obviously aesthetics, I mean, come on, you're not going to find much better than this. There is a monster loose in Brooklyn once again. Hell yeah, brother. And yeah, so as you can see, these bars create a very, very visually pleasing, clean setup for anyone that's running a dual gauge setup. You know, which is, again, if you're coming from the FXDX Superglide Sport Life, then this is something that you're pretty much used to. So that's like probably the first major benefit of running these bars is, come on y'all, like how clean is that, man? And I mean, what I can tell you is right now, the thing that I really, really love about these bars is, in terms of the way they feel and in terms of the position that these bars put you in, this is the closest thing I could tell you to what I would call the New York City OG setup. And if you're wondering what I mean by that, well, none other than Peter Guns and Sal Badfoot, who in my eyes are like the OGs out here who have been doing this thing back when I was in elementary school. But anyway, they showed me the way when it came to the optimal bar setup on your Dyna or FXR, which is pretty simple. It's basically an 8 to 10 inch riser with running a Sportster bar on top. Which, you know, if you see my FXDX, that's actually the setup I run on that bike. And yeah, that setup is like the perfect height where it's gonna make your arms parallel to the bike, but also gives you a little bit of a pullback, which is something I run with all my bikes, and as well as provides a more narrow width with the bars. And I've never found a bar and riser combination that was like manufactured straight out the box to match the sporty bar and riser OG combination that, you know, like I said, is a popular combination with the OGs out here in New York City. When I run a bar setup like this, it's like very clear to me that it is being produced by some New York City OGs such as John the Painter and Bobby Seeger. You know, those guys have been around for a minute. You know, they know what you need to crush miles out here in New York City. And it's very clear that these bars were designed for that purpose. So in terms of having to do what you need a bike to do within the confines of New York City, which is pretty simple. You need a bike that goes fast, stop fast, and at the end of the day, a bike that you can throw around, which is why, you know, I've always been about the sport touring Dyna FXR life over the bagger life for that reason. These bars 100% achieve that purpose because, like I said, you're in a position where your arms are going to be parallel, so you could crush your 1,000-mile day on the bike trips, which, you know, your favorite Dyna bro on YouTube does plenty of those. But however, they also put you in this position where you're also in this very aggressive position with a very, very narrow width in terms of where your hands are planted. My biggest pet peeve for any bar setup, if I ever jump on somebody else's bike, is I hate when bars are too wide, you know, because especially for slow speed maneuvers, especially for tactical maneuvering, when you got to get around tricky situations, it just makes it all that much harder to do. So again, I do not like when a bar setup is too wide, and these, to me, in terms of a bar riser T-bar situation, these are by far the most narrow setup I've found that's coming straight out the box. So yeah, that's more or less the situation with these. Yeah, I know, I'm not playing the gas game. You can see I'm on a half tank. It's just got some electrical issues right now that always want to make it that always want to tell FXDLS Brooklyn that we're playing the gas game. But no, it's all good. I got half the tank for all y'all in the comments that are expressing your concern. So yeah, like I said, the bars themselves are very special to me because I did actually get to watch these bars be made in-house by John the Painter himself. If you saw a video, I did a video of like how it's made. If you like to nerd out on that stuff like I do, you can see how these are actually made. And that's not to say that the bar setups I've run on my bikes have not been good. They've been amazing. They've allowed me to crush very heavy mile bike trips. But this, in terms of just a absolutely premium, amazing bar setup that's gonna give you an aggressive stance straight out the box with that flair and customization that Indian Larry Cycles is known for, you're not gonna find anything that's gonna beat this right now. I'm just gonna go out and say it. This is amazing. So if you're someone that's probably gonna ask me like, yo, they're not on the site yet, how do I get those bars? Here's the deal. I'm actually running a prototype. These have not been released to the public as of early spring, so I don't know when these are gonna be available on the site. I hope soon, because again, like if you're on a Dyna or an FXR with a dual gauge setup, I'm like blown away by what these are offering. So I would say just, you know, stay posted on their Instagram, stay posted on their website. I'm sure they'll drop soon. That's my review. I got nothing bad to say about these bars, man. Nothing bad to say about these bars. This is the type of bar where, like I said, a mile crusher that's having to navigate default miles that are in New York City. If you find yourself in that type of riding style, I feel like these bars are made for me, man. Well done, y'all. Well done. Alright, but more or less, that's all I got for this one. Like I said, Indian Larry, Brooklyn Brawler bars do not disappoint. Check out their website, follow them on Instagram. As always, stay safe and stay low. If you like this one, make sure to like the video and consider subscribing. And on that, FXDLS Brooklyn is out.